Real quick before we go, what do you think the more important game is for Tennessee this year? The game at home against Florida or the game at LSU in Baton Rouge? Like which of those wins do you think would be more monumental for Tennessee? Because look, they haven't beat Florida since 2016, and that's a team they play every single year. But winning in Death Valley is special, and Tennessee has not beat LSU in 17 years. I know they don't play them every year; they've only like 4 or 5 times since then. But it's been 17 years since you beat LSU. Which win do you think would be more monumental?
Splitting them, no matter which one is the win for Tennessee, would be huge.
Right, for sure.
Like, start there, but it has to be Florida, right? You gotta get that money because that's the thing that has been standing so hard in your path in terms of getting Tennessee back. It's what it was in the mid '90s. You couldn't get over the Florida thing. Like it's just always been that. Back then, it was what was standing between you and a national championship. Now it's what's standing between you and just back to relevance. And if you can, we said it a couple weeks ago. Make the Florida rivalry of football like Kentucky is with basketball now. You're regularly beating them. You kind of have their number. They still get you sometimes. Like it's always going to be extremely hard to win in the swamp across the board. That will never be an easy win, no matter how bad Florida might be, unless they just turn into Vanderbilt, which I do not anticipate happening. And so if you can get it to that point where you're winning almost always when it's in Neyland Stadium, and even winning some of them in the swamp, like that's how you turn this perception of Tennessee and the program as a whole. You can't have something like that hanging over you. LSU is just not a perpetual thing. It would be amazing to win in Death Valley, but you don't play them every year. It's not a quote unquote like historical rivalry or anything like that, even though there have been incredible games between Tennessee and LSU. It's just, it doesn't hold that same weight. It's just got to be that Florida one because you would lose to Florida, you lose at home against a team that you have better talent in now. And they have a first year coach who a lot of people are pretty skeptical of. Like, again, go listen to what Barrett Lee had to say about Billy Napier last week. He was not very complimentary of Billy Napier. And so you just have everything working for you against Florida. I think a lot of people would look at Tennessee losing in Death Valley and go like, well, yeah, most people lose at LSU. It's not that crazy of a thing to think might happen. So it's got to be right, Florida.
It's close, but I feel like I feel like I'm with you on that just because it's Florida. But honestly, like you said, if they split and the wins in LSU, it's disappointing. But that's a pretty big win, even though LSU's kind of down in a way. Which I don't think the LSU's gonna be that down. I think they're still really talented. I just don't think they got the right coach. So we'll see how that goes.
If I kind of think about, I think the question for the season would almost be more: would you trade a loss to Missouri for wins over LSU and Florida both? Like, that's kind of the question that I ask is like, would you drop a stupid weird one, but you win the big games?
Yeah, and Missouri's easy to swallow because it's Missouri, and like you said, nobody cares. You're not going to have a Missouri fans chirp at you. That would be a lot more catastrophic if it was South Carolina or Kentucky.
That's true. I don't know. We'll talk about it in the coming weeks. We'll have our predictions for the season about what we think. We got to keep the folks coming back. So join us once again for more of this premium content. And we're talking about, we might do maybe some live stream stuff coming up. I don't know. Zach and I are talking about it. We'll see what happens leading up to the season. We just want to get as much hype going as possible. And also, I'm going to be back doing the game day show with Jonathan Crompton this coming season. We got renewed for season number 2. A to Z decided to pick us back up. So it's going to be fun.
Season 2 premiering soon.
Yep. So, and look out for that. Otherwise, Charlie Burris, Zach Reagan. This has been the Big Orange Podcast. Thanks so much to everybody for listening, watching, at Charlie_Burris, at Zach TNT, at A to Z Sports, A to Z Sports.com, A to Z Sports Podcast Network feed on Apple, Spotify. I'm trying to kill time where my music opens up here so that I can play it. And there it is. All right. Now we're good. Thanks to everybody again for listening. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
See you guys later.
I tell you, I don't